everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you would already know, this is the third part of the whole blog content creation process. So in the first part, we discussed about 13 different ways in which you can research for your content. So that is how you gather ideas, information, and all the material that you would want to convey to your audience through your blog. In the second part, we discussed how can you create the content outline for your blog. And here is the third part where I will share how to create your first writing draft. But before I move into the video, make sure that you subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that yet. And now let's start. So, what is a first draft anyway at all? Why is it important? So, your first draft is the outcome of all the research that you would have done for your blog topic. It is the outcome of the identification of your target audience, the people that you are writing for, and it is how your blog outline starts to come together piece by piece. So this is the first step when you are actually working on the written part of the whole blog content creation process. So there are a few things that you have to take care of while writing your first draft, which I will share in this video one by one. So the very first point is that you have to outline your topic. Like we said, when you are creating that content outline, it will give you a structure, it will give you a format. So all you have to do in the first draft is you have to fill that outline. That is just your main purpose with the first draft, that you have to fill your outline, you have to gather all the information, and you have to put it into a structure, into a format. Now, second point that you have to remember, it is your first draft. Don't be very hard on yourself. Your first draft will be messy, it will not be perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect, because there will be more sittings when you will sit down to write and you will sit down to modify and edit your content. So your first draft doesn't have to be perfect at all. Just go easy on yourself from that point of view. Now, the third part, don't pay attention to every single detail in your first draft, because that is something that will be done later. Like I said, your first draft is supposed to let your creative juices flow. You are supposed to sit with your laptop and you are supposed to write with whatever is coming to your mind. Do not restrict your thoughts and ideas. Every single point, sentence, or every single information that you think could be relevant to the topic that you are writing on, just put it in there. Don't worry about the sentence formation, don't worry about the grammar, don't worry about the spellings, don't worry about the punctuations. You don't have to worry about anything at all, because it is your first draft and you are free. You are absolutely free to let it all go and to let it be as imperfect as it can be, right? And now another point which is very, very crucial. So this happens with me as well, that when we sit down to write on our first draft, when we sit down to write on a topic, and when you are in the flow of writing, there will come times when you are writing and you will feel like, oh, this should not be there, or that should not be there, or this point doesn't align with the idea, or you don't need this point in this blog. You will have those kinds of thoughts. But for the first draft, you have to set all of those inner thoughts aside. You have to keep your critique aside, right? As you have to be in the mind of the writer when you're writing. Don't be an editor, don't be a reader when you're writing your first draft, okay? Just keep all of your criticism aside when you are writing your first draft. Don't worry about what belongs and what doesn't belong. Just let your creativity flow. And now the fifth point. Even though you have done all your research, even though you have a content outline, even though it is all prepared, you have done the pre-writing work, you are into the process of writing down, but that does not mean that your work for research stops here. When you're writing your first draft, you might have thoughts and ideas that would require some more research from your end, that might require visiting another website or talking to some more people or something like that. So don't be very rigid with your format, don't be very hard on yourself, and don't follow the rules that you have a proper outline with you and you have to go with it. No, you don't. This is your first draft. Explore. Okay, explore as much as you can. If you feel that this point of information will feel relevant, add it. Okay, don't stop yourself, don't stop don't stop your writing juices to flow, because again, this is something that can happen when you are writing. You might feel like I have a content outline, especially if you are working as a freelance writer. If you are working on a client project, this might come to your mind that okay, I have a content outline by my client and I have to stick to it. Yes, obviously you should stick to it, but that does not mean you have to follow it blindly. You are a writer, you have a mind of your own, you have the ability to understand and create. Use that. Let your creative juices flow. If the point that you are considering, whether it fits or not, that is a decision for the final draft, that is a decision for the later part, but this is your first draft. Go all out. Okay, don't restrict your process to one particular direction. And the final point when considering your first draft is, once you are done with that first draft, don't be afraid to seek feedback. Now, this feedback can come from your friend or someone that could read your written work and give you constructive criticism. So it can be your client, it can be a friend, it can be your partner, it can be anybody around you who you believe that will give you like genuine feedback. Okay, this is not to make you feel derogatory, or it should not be to make you feel any lesser, but the feedback should be genuine so that it could add more value to your blog. So these are the points that you should definitely consider if you are working on your first draft. And again, like I said, like I always do, first drafts are supposed to be messy, they are supposed to be all over the place, they're supposed to be imperfect. So don't force yourself in a box when you're writing your first drafts. Now, with that said, this was everything that I had to share with you in this video. Do let me know what is the thought process that you go through when you are writing your first drafts. I would love to know your experience or your feelings and how you think when you're writing your first draft. I would love to know all of that in the comments. And once again, all of the relevant links would be in the description. I'm hosting a workshop, you would know by now, that 16th and 17th September. If you want to start a blog and scale your blog before 2024 begins, then 16th and 17th September I am hosting 2-day workshop for aspiring bloggers. The link will be in the description. The registration closes on 15th September midnight, so make sure you register for it if this is something that would be interesting for you. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.